So JP, thanks for talking to us a little bit here. One of the big things, obviously, that's going on right now is, we're kind of in this dip, and businesses are, feeling it right now. And, one of the big things is how they used to run in the past, but obviously things are going to change. But before we get to the future, right now, do you have kind of any main kind of business operations that companies need to switch up and do differently right now?
Well, some of the things right now people are doing to deal with the situation is just keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on. Whereas before, you used to be able to walk right over and see something that's going on right now in your operations, or go grab a piece of paper off the printer or who knows what. You have to be able to see what's going on in the technology world virtually. You need to be able to track what's going on. You need to be able to see progress of things. So it's not like you can snap your fingers and all of a sudden have new software systems overnight. But creating some ways to share that information, putting it more into maybe some spreadsheets that people can review twice a week, as opposed to waiting until the end of the month to see what's going on. So definitely getting your finger on the pulse of your business and what's going on day to day and week to week right now, and just being ready to adapt and change. Super important.
So that's actually a really good point. Something you touched on at the beginning of that is, maybe some businesses used to be able to just walk outside their door and be able to take a look at what's going on. Now everyone's remote, everything's online. So are there any certain programs or something that you would recommend that companies can help them kind of keep their pulse on what's going on with their business?
Sure. I would say, find things that work for you with the tools that you have today. Any kind of spreadsheet program is great just to get the basics in there. And you can ask your team leads, ask your operations leads to just fill in some key information. They know what's going on. They can get it out of whatever systems you're using today. So, using Microsoft Office and Excel or G Suite and Sheets, those things are great because they can be shared. So especially with the Office 365 and the G Suite Online, they can be shared. Multiple people can be in there at a time. I would use those two. If you want to get more advanced, then you could apply some kind of visualization tool. So you could do some charting. Both of those have some charts and graphs and looking at trends. So those are the most important things for you to look at right now. Where am I now versus where was I before? So I would start with your spreadsheet stuff, and then you can start getting more advanced into some business intelligence and visualization.
So for those certain programs and stuff, is that something that you see is kind of just a Band-Aid for right now? Or are those good things to get into now, and that when we get back to kind of business as usual with quotes, those are things that we can continue to use and only helps our company?
So the spreadsheet concept is definitely, I would say, more of a short term. Now you can build more advanced tools on top of spreadsheets later. Your ideal solution for the midterm and the long term is really creating some reports that you can see and access that are built on the software systems that you run on every day. So ideally what you've got is some integration with your core accounting system, with your core operations system, with your ERP, with your CRM, that all of those, you've got reporting capabilities built on top of and integrated with those solutions. That's your best mid and long term. And you can do some of that right now. A lot of reports, people don't leverage everything that's built into your software system. So see what's there, see what's available today, and start using those more. Share them more with people. Share them over your screen when you're doing these Zoom sessions or these remote video calls with people. Look at it together, what you have.
So as far as, the situation we're in, what would you kind of say, whether it's, what we're talking about now, using new process automations and using new cloud softwares that maybe we never used before, but what is the kind of big positive, because that's really, I think, what everyone's kind of looking for now, because we've accepted where we are. What are some of the big positives that businesses can be taking away from the situation that we're in now?
Some of the biggest things people can apply right now so that they come out of this strong, and you're just going to keep doing things this way, is streamlining processes, being more automated, getting your systems integrated together, and making sure that you're using cloud software very well, and that the information is all there. So again, 3 main solutions that you should be focusing on right now, and then leverage them into the future. look at the processes that are happening, try to streamline and automate those, create some workflows, write it down virtually and kind of order it. Does this make sense the way we're doing it now that you can look at this and take some time to streamline it and then automate it? So that way, you don't have human beings making the same decisions over and over again and having bottlenecks. Instead, you're streamlining your operations, you're streamlining your processes, and now your people can focus on when there's exceptions to that, instead of doing the same thing over and over again. So process automation is one big one. Systems integration, number two, and I mentioned that earlier. Having your systems talk to each other so that you're not relying on people to just report information back and forth. Even if it's just pulling information from a couple different systems into a single report or a single sheet or whatever it is. But most systems these days, most modern software systems have integration tools built in, and you can either pull information or push information from one to the other. And getting all of that in one place is super important. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you from waiting. We've been okay waiting a week, waiting a month to know what's going on in our business. That's not true anymore. I need to know what's going on today. And you know what? When you come out of this, knowing what's going on today is still going to be a great thing. And number three, cloud software. Getting whatever you can, start looking at what options you have. If you're still working with desktop software, you're probably running into some pain points right now, given the current situation. People are trying to remote in, or they've got a laptop and they can't connect, or they're not connected and only they are seeing the information on their computer. Nobody else can see it. So start looking at what the cloud software solutions are for your business. There might be a cloud solution for something you've already got and you just need to migrate. Or it might be time to start looking at evolving your business to move off of whatever you have now. If it's not working great and it can't do the automation and the reporting and the integration, and it's not available over the cloud and on your mobile phone, now's a great time to see what options do we have. Let's start laying the groundwork so that out the other end of this, I'm going to be set to take off.
So one final thing I would say is, I like to kind of ask the questions that maybe some people are afraid to. So if it's a business owner or maybe a decision maker who's in charge of some of those processes in the company, where is the best place to kind of start to just even find out any more information on the things you're talking about? Let's say that person just has no clue, and that's okay, but maybe they're afraid to ask that. So where are some of the best resources to go to kind of get into those different things?
Yeah, great question. A lot of people don't know where to start with these things, and it's why a lot of people are still using systems that are 5, 10, 20 years old, because they worked for the old world. And it's painful and sometimes scary looking at what's new. So you should not undergo this by yourself. Start with, if you have IT staff, hey, they will love to talk to you about it. Talk to your IT staff, get ideas. If you have IT consultants that you trust, talk to them. Talk to other business owners. If you have a close circle of advisors, talk to them. What's worked for them? What hasn't worked for them? Who operates really well? Pick out those 3 or 4 of your business contacts and say, who do you use, or how have you gone through this process? And finally, I would say, reach out to someone that focuses on business and technology, that does this for a living and is used to pairing those two things together, because they're hard to do separate. They're really hard to do putting together. It's not a journey you should go under by yourself.
Well, it's really good information, and I do appreciate the time, and I'm glad I'm glad we're kind of ahead of the curve on those things, because obviously we're taking advantage of stuff like this on Zoom to be able to conduct interviews like this in these times. So again, I appreciate you giving us the time to get that information out there.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it.